Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Craft Beer Me. Today we're at Current Brewing in San Marcos, and I'm joined with the guest host, Ray, the famous craft beer Ray. Thank you for being here. And today we're joined with Paul. So Paul, what do you do here at Current?
Well, some would argue not much, but I'm actually one of the owners and the brewmaster, and I also do sales. So
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Like
only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Right.
So how did you start up Current?
Good question. I was a home brewer, like most of the other breweries in town. I took a different path. I was an engineer and was just trying to make like the finest examples of every style that I could possibly make. And my friends all said, "Oh, you're making great beer. You should open a brewery." Like every home brewer will get that. But I didn't buy that. So I started doing competitions, became a highly ranked judge, and I based it on how well I did in competitions. And so I was a competitive home brewer for a few years, won lots of medals all around the country. Accidentally ended up winning the top home brewer in the world. It's called the Ninkasi Award. Won the top home brewer in California and won the top home brewer in San Diego 3 times. So after that, my friends were like, "Okay, now what are you going to do?" And I'm just like, "I have no clue." And a bunch of people came to me and said, "Hey, why don't we open a brewery together?" And my business partner, Guy Show, came to me, and he was a great guy, good friend, and I decided, yeah, let's do it. So that's what happened.
Wow, you really were diligent about going about it the right way. Making sure that you could prove yourself and get that merit, get all those medals, and make sure that you were doing the right thing.
I wanted it to be objective feedback, not like my buddies giving them a free beer and them saying, "Oh, this is great, I'll have another free beer." I bet you liked that, didn't you? It was free.
Yeah. How did you come up with the theme and design of Rip Current?
We wanted something that was a Southern California name because we were focusing on Southern California. We love the ocean. There's an interesting dichotomy between myself and Guy Shobe, who's the other main partner. He was a home brewer. He made lots of session level beers. I made big, huge, flavorful beers. So we wanted to do both of them. And so I wanted a name that signified strength and like rip currents. Those things are strong when you're out there trying to swim.
Yeah.
So we want something like that. So picking the name was extremely difficult, and it took a long time, but we finally found that Rip Current was available.
All right, so let's get to the beer. So what's the first beer that we're going to be having today?
It's actually our Belgian-style blonde, which is now in can. So this is a Belgian blonde, much like Left Blonde, not like an American blonde. So a lot of people expect like a light, malty beer. But Left Blonde and Belgian blondes are much bigger. This is a 7% beer. It's a good summer beer because it's very dry.
You can smell the fruity notes from the Belgian yeast. Absolutely coming through.
Absolutely. And it finishes with a little bit of like a black pepper character, which are phenols from the yeast.
You said it's 7%.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like 7% at all.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty crushable.
Yeah, so smooth too.
Yeah.
And I'm not big on blondes that much, but this is one that I would order. Once you get exposed to it, you're like, "Oh, that's what I want."
Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the first one. Yeah. That's good that you guys are focusing on that. Like sometimes I'll have a Belgian blonde, and it's just too much of that fruity flavor. Sometimes like bubble gum will come through, and it's not good. But this is, oh my god, it's really nice.
Yeah, this one we're trying to keep more mild on all the yeast character, although it's very pronounced, but it's very mild. You can drink a lot of that.
Yeah.
Some of our other Belgian beers are a little bit more expressive.
Yeah. So that was a no-brainer to put in a can right away, right?
The Belgian Blonde stood out as one of our best-selling non-hoppy beers at the tasting rooms.
What's the second one that we're having?
Second one is this pretty light blue can, which we just came out with, called Off the Lip. It's our IPA. Again, it's very clear. It's not a cloudy IPA. You can see that. You can see right through it.
No haze.
Yeah, there's no haze on this one. We use hops from Australia and the Pacific Northwest to kind of give it a tropical, fruity kind of character to it.
How do you guys come up with? I mean, obviously it's like Rip Current, coastal theme, but how'd you come up with Off the Lip?
Basically, we want a name that's not too long and has something to do with water sports or surfing or something along that line. And Off the Lip just kind of worked for this one.
That's very balanced. Like you get that hop character, but you still have that malt backbone to
a little bit,
that settles in.
Clean.
So our theory, I mean, this is the way we've done it all along. I think we like it blonde and light and dry, as the base beer. But because it's dry, you don't need a lot of bitterness to balance a dry beer.
Yeah.
The bitterness is to balance malt character in the final beer, and there's not a lot. So our bitterness is lower, and therefore you get a little bit of malt character out of each one.
What's the next beer we'll be having?
So the third one is Lupulin Lust. It's our double IPA. It's our best-selling beer. It was actually one of my home brews, and it traces its roots all the way back to the old days of Pliny the Elder, when I would work with Vinny on, when he was doing that, I would trade email with him, and a bunch of us were trying to clone it. This beer is not like Pliny the Elder anymore.
Yeah.
We've changed the hops. So the main hop is Citra, to give it kind of more of an orange tangerine character, and then it has grapefruit behind that, and then there's some pininess to kind of round out kind of the flavor.
I think as craft beer continues to be, so popular, people are now starting to learn about like hops names, and before nobody even cared. Like people just remember IPA. That's the only thing I remember now is like, oh, I think I like Citra. Like I've seen it, and they derive names based on like, Citra or something.
And it's good because you get to find out which one you like or which beers you're gonna like. I like Little Miss Brewing. They do smash beers, so now you like Azaka. Now you like Citra. Now you like Utica. That's really good. That stands out.
The front stage hop on that Citra, and then behind that Centennial, grapefruit, and then some Simcoe for like a piney character that's behind kind of the orange tangerine of Citra.
None of your beers taste what the alcohol is inside their stuff.
I was about to say, they're all very deceptive. Like
we're well known for that too.
Yeah.
We sell lots of growlers of that. I don't know how many people are drinking those growlers, but
we hope they're sharing them.
If they're home, they can do whatever they want.
What's the next one that we'll have? Yeah, the fourth.
So we're going to jump over more to the dark side. This is called Java Storm. It's our Kona Coffee Imperial Porter. So we actually fly our coffee in straight from Hawaii. They roast it and overnight it to us, and bam, we're cold steeping it and preparing it to go in this beer. It's funny, a lot of people who aren't big coffee people love this beer. I'm not a huge coffee person myself, but I do like cold steep coffee a lot. And that's the main characteristic of this beer, even though it's 10%.
These things just keep getting higher and higher.
Yep.
Wow.
We go across the gamut.
I don't drink coffee at all. I've tried it, different roasts. I've tried cold brew and all that. It's just not for me. But I love the flavors that come out in beer. In all honesty, whenever and I feel like I'm not the only person, but when you have like a porter or a stout, you kind of associate more with colder weather. That I do not associate with like colder weather. Like, oh, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I want to have this right away. No, I can see myself having this like in the middle of July because it's that pleasant and it's not as heavy. You don't have the alcohol heat. It's just really, like all the beers so far, clean.
Yeah, I drink that year round. That's one of my go-tos at home. That's on my kegerator at home. So.
Oh my god, and it's 10%. I guess.
At home is the key part of it.
Yeah, at home. Oh my god.
So this beer just won the gold medal at the San Diego Fair for coffee beers.
Yeah.
And last year it won in the LA Fair for gold medal for coffee beers. So it's doing well. All right, so the next one, there's no can for it. I just figured we'd throw you guys a little loop here with barrel-aged beer. This one you will taste the alcohol.
So this is your kind of beer, right?
Well,
a big beer.
Yes, it is for sure. Well, I actually like almost every. Yeah, actually, I like every one we trying. I drink all of these all the time. This particular one is our current one. It's a Belgian dark strong called Dangerous Undertow.
Oh my god.
There's a reason. We bourbon barrel aged this one for 2.5 years in Heaven Hill barrels. I mean, when was the last time you ran into a beer that's been in barrels for 2.5 years?
Very often.
Yeah, so the bourbon character is very pronounced. You'll definitely get that, and I'll just let you enjoy it. Yeah, it's right around there.
Hold on, I can't pass this.
No,
I can't pass this yet.
We don't release any of our spirit barrel aged beers for under a year. They're always in at least a year, and obviously some are much longer. We let the beer tell us when it's ready. And for me, I want to taste barrel character. I want to taste spirit character. I want to taste the base beer. I want to be a full experience of flavors, and that takes a while. You can't get that in a couple of months. You can't.
It's like one thing I experience like across the board with breweries is, you have this base beer. Let's say you have an IPA, and you want to fruit it. You want to add tangerines. You want to add grapefruit. I feel like sometimes they go a little overboard where all you taste is the tangerine or the grapefruit. I feel like a really good beer has that balance of you can taste the base beer and you can taste the fruited variant. That's what I get out of that. You can taste the Belgian Dark Strong, that base beer with those like caramel, raisin kind of notes, but you have that little residual alcohol heat that'll warm you up like in the background.
That's right.
You just don't want to let go of it. That's
Still more left.
I know. What do you think of it?
I loved it, man. Again, I think everything we've had has been so clean. And even that, when you said there was going to be a little bit more of a kick in the alcohol, I didn't taste it that much. Like, it was very smooth. I guess I've had some that have like shocked you. It's like almost like you're taking a shot.
Yeah, exactly,
And,
exactly.
Because the ABV on it is what again?
Oh, that one's like 13.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Again, it's the whole thing. It's like
That's not-
it doesn't seem like that. It like
I would say that to me is more like an 8 or 9. You know, like the taste of it. And
Right.
so that's and that's why I give a lot of credit when somebody has basically the craft of being able to have a high ABV but not hit you like that. That takes a lot of skill set.
So that about wraps it up. Be sure to check out Rip Current up in San Marcos, or if you're down in North Park, I want to say thanks to Ray for coming in and joining as guest host. Oh my God, another blab, blab, blab. Unique New York. There we go. And then thanks to Paul for letting us come in and drink the beers and share Rip Current's story. So we'll see you next time. Cheers to Rip Current.
Cheers.
Cheers.